So, boys, our show is cursed.
Mm-hmm.
We've recently found out. And now we are at risk. If we go down this road again of talking about our cursed show, it means that this episode may be cursed. Ooh. So do we want to make that decision to go down this path again?
Do it.
Well, like, how cursed are we talking? Like, is this like a monkey's paw situation where we can make a wish, but it comes out bad?
Negative, like definitely negatively cursed, and people are dying, and animals are dying. Yes.
Are we dying? Anyone on the show?
No.
Are we dying? Oh, well, fuck them. Let's go.
Good to go.
Okay, let's go ahead. So this episode is officially cursed because we're about to bring it up. We have kind of an ongoing weird thing that's been happening, whereas I think in the first 10 episodes, we discussed, we read out an email of a fan who the last thing he ever heard before he technically died and then came back to life. He had a cardiac arrest or a stroke or something like that.
He was medically dead for a couple minutes or something.
Yeah, and then he realized when he woke up that the last thing he actually heard on the way to his soccer game was our radio show. And we kind of had a bit of a laugh going like, it's, glad he's okay now, but God, imagine like if that's the last thing you ever heard. Like, what a shit way to go out. We could have been talking about farts. Often on the radio station, we played fart and sneeze sound effects because we were fascinated with how they sounded kind of in a row. Just, pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah, not something you want to die to,
Yeah, definitely like a good Sunday Arvo listening sesh or something, but not something you want to go out remembering.
Not final words, you want to hear like an I love you from a partner or a mother or whatever. You
not a
really
fart and a sniff.
Yes, two guys you've never met going, isn't that funny? Not what you want to go out to.
Also probably not the worst way to go out.
I mean, that would be something for you and I to go out to. Like if I'm on my deathbed and then you go, oi, listen to this, and you play a fart and a sneeze, and then I laugh so hard I have a heart attack. That's honestly a win for me.
Yeah, that's a great life. So anyway, we discussed that. Then we got another email a few weeks ago, or it was a couple of weeks ago actually, of someone who ran off a freeway listening to our show on the way back from Macca's. Do you remember this?
Yes.
And almost died listening again. And we said, we think our show's cursed. Then on that episode, right, so if you're still following.
Before the car, there was someone whose dog did die.
Yes.
Listening. You forgot about that.
Oh, sorry.
One.
Yeah, there's one more chain. So, after we discussed the guy having a heart attack playing soccer, we discussed that on a few episodes, like, after that. Then after that, someone's dog died listening to that discussion, right, about the dead guy.
That was our first official death. Well, kind of our second. It's just the dog never woke up.
Right, and the deaths are exclusively always related to us talking about people dying on the show. Then fast forward about a year, we then bring this one up a couple of weeks ago of a guy going off the freeway. Then we were inundated with emails saying our show is cursed.
I saw one. Did we get more than one?
Well, yeah. So this one came in from Katie, right?
So we've had two, so far, tally is 2 official deaths and one, like, real near miss. We saw the photos. It was like... It's actually a miracle he did not die.
Yes.
Maybe the reason he didn't die was when he smashed into the tree, it fucked up the stereo system, the podcast stopped playing.
Probably. Hopefully. Katie said, "Hi guys, I love the podcast and I've been an avid listener for a while now. However, I believe your podcast is cursed. In Tuesday's podcast, you were talking about how a listener's dog died while they were watching your podcast. Perhaps it was the episode when you were talking about another listener almost dying while listening to the show. Correct.
Yep.
You even joked about the show being cursed on the episode. My dog got very sick and started vomiting during this part of the podcast. She never vomits, so I was very worried. This is why I believe the show is cursed. She's okay now as soon as I turned the episode off." Right? As soon as she stopped the podcast, the dog became normal again, right? Still love the podcast, but please be aware of the curse and try not to harm your listeners or their dogs. Thanks, Katie. Now, that's just a sick dog.
Scary.
I read that email. I was like, nothing to worry about. This girl's overthinking it, okay? Dogs get sick all the time. Probably ate something bad. Then we got one from Shane. Your podcast is cursed whenever you mention death. So I was listening to Tuesday's podcast. He explains where you fall asleep, right? He goes, while watching this part of the podcast where you're explaining about the guy almost dying, I get a call from my uncle and auntie telling me their dog had just died. Pretty fucked that even the mention of death brings shit luck to your loyal viewers. You guys need to have a shit one. So it's a little bit pissed from Shane. Fair enough.
I mean, fair enough. If we killed his uncle, which the evidence is pointing towards that,
No.
I would be at least a little bit upset. I'd say have a shit one is actually quite generous
Right?
of him.
And I thought, there's no way. This is already crazy. Then I was
Sorry,
live
just
streaming-
sorry.
hang on,
Quick correction.
What's the tally at? We have
Uncle's
we have
dog,
two-
Lewis.
Hey?
Uncle's
uncle.
dog. I think. What?
Oh, uncle's dog.
No. Didn't you
Uncle
say?
or uncle's dog.
Uncle and Auntie's dog
Yeah.
died.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the tally
you
is
say?
currently.
No, Lewis just thought the uncle died.
Oh, no, it was the dog.
Yeah. Okay, fair
Mainly
enough.
cursed for dogs, for pet owners.
Right. So currently the tally is sitting at 3 deaths.
Yes.
Because we have one human, he survived, but he died, right? 2 dogs,
Yep.
and then we
No,
have 2 near misses.
Yes, and now add another death to the tally because I was streaming the other night and
no.
it wasn't Shane, it was someone else in the chat. And I'm paraphrasing here because it was in the chat, which is going quite quick. But for those who are watching the stream will remember me freaking out because someone said, you know how you're talking about the dog dying on the other girl's lap? That happened. My dog just died while listening to that episode. I'm not joking. Your
What?
show is fucked. So it's happened.
The episode we talked about
Yes,
a dog
so-
dying, a dog died.
Yes.
Guys, I think our episode's fucking cursed.
That's
These
fucked.
next episode's download numbers are going to be bad. A lot of people have just died.
A lot of dog owners just like are going to quit the podcast now. So do we, I think we have to make a new rule after this discussion. Now we've acknowledged it. Do we need to just completely ban dog death discussion on the show?
Well,
Make
maybe
it a
we need
rule.
to we need to figure out often when you watch horror movies, if they're in like a haunted house, they need to just ask the house if there's something that they've done or is there someone haunting the podcast? Why don't you just do that and we'll see if anything happens.
So I ask it now, the podcast,
Yeah,
like the
ask
RSS
the
feed.
Yeah, what do you reckon is the cursed element? Is it Luke and Lewis? Is it us, or is it the RSS feed, or is it the YouTube version?
Yeah, it seems to be the YouTube version. Maybe it's the
No,
channel.
I don't think it's the YouTube version because a couple of them
For
happened.
listening.
Yeah.
We're listening.
It's the
Well, why don't you? How about start off? Just ask the YouTube version, see if we get anything.
Hey, YouTube, what did we ever do to you? Please tell us. I know we get inconsistent views and we sometimes abandon you.
We definitely get demonetized. A lot.
Yeah, I know you don't like giving us ads, but surely you don't like our fans' dogs dying. Please help us.
Not getting anything. Okay. Well, I would say demonetize isn't very.
If like a bird just flew through your window right now, I'd lose my fucking mind and I'd quit the podcast forever.
Yeah. Not getting.
I'm not
anything
even
there.
suspicious, but that's fucked.
All right. Well, I guess ask the RSS feed.
RSS feed, please forgive us whatever we have done. We have uploaded consistently for 1.5 years and given you great content to distribute to our loyal listeners. Why have you wronged us? Please help us. Yours sincerely, Luke and Lewis. No signs. Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, maybe the show's not cursed. Maybe we've just overthought this one.